Shane and Lightning's wacky world. Yeah, Shane and Lightning's wacky world. Wacky things for your boys and girls. Yeah, Shane and Lightning.
Hey, what's up everyone? Danny Lightning here from Shane and Lightning's Wacky World, and this is Scary Stories with Danny Lightning. So, I'm going to tell you guys about a real life experience that I have that I just can't explain. This was probably one of the most interesting, coolest things that have ever happened to me in my entire life. So I'm going to tell you guys all about my experience with a up close and personal UFO. Now, when people hear UFO, they automatically jump to aliens. All right, UFO does not mean alien spaceship. It just means unidentified flying object. And that's exactly what I saw. An up close and personal flying object that was probably about 100, maybe 200 yards away from me. It sat right over top of the trees and it hovered, and it's like nothing I have ever saw before. This was the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life, so we're going to tell you all about it in this video. So somehow I end up in this little town called Seville, Ohio at a bonfire. All right, we're on somebody's farm. All right, Seville is just kind of like farmland. It's kind of a little bit out there, not a whole lot around, just a lot of land and farms and stuff like that. And on this particular farm, way back across the field, they had some houses. They had some horses and whatnot hanging out in the pen. And me and this girl, Jamie, were like, hey, we're going to go walk across the field and check out the horses. So we start walking over there. We get about halfway across and we just see this white glowing ball of light. I mean, this is just like a perfect circle, just perfect ball of white energy, and it flies down right over the treetops and it just stops and it hovers there. The weirdest thing about this is I always kind of thought that, hey, if I ever see some sort of weird spaceship, I don't know what it is, I'm going to turn around and I am going to run and get out of there as fast as I possibly can. But that's not what happened. Jamie and I, we both just stopped in our tracks and we stared at this thing. We were both just like mesmerized by it. We were in awe. Neither of us spoke a word. And it must have stayed there for a good like 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, just hovering right over the treetops. But yeah, we were probably 100 yards, maybe 200 yards away from this thing, possibly closer than that. And we just stared at it. I do remember thinking, what is piloting this thing? Is this something made by humans? How could we make something like this? I mean, it was just a solid white ball, like just a solid white orb of pure energy. And the weirdest thing was, as bright as it wasn't lighting up anything around it. Like it was really bright and illuminated, but nothing around it was being illuminated. It was like all the light was contained inside of it. I've never seen anything like this in my life. Craziest thing I've ever seen. But wait, there's more. So we're sitting there and we're staring at this thing. And next thing you know, it almost kind of like opens up. I don't really know how to explain it. It didn't exactly open up, but 3 lights came out of it. There was 3 different color lights. One was spinning around this way, one this way, and one kind of around the center. So the lights were all going in different directions. And it just sat there with these lights spinning around it. It was the neatest, coolest thing I've ever seen. And eventually, you know, after staring at it for a while, just not moving, not saying a word, just hanging out, just watching this thing. And it was really weird because it was the most peaceful, just relaxing, like, oh my God, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen feeling. I mean, I always thought I would be terrified in that situation, but it was probably one of the coolest experiences of my life. But after a while, those lights went back inside of it, and it took off at a rate of speed I have never seen. I don't know how anything could possibly do this, but it kind of started to move a little bit. And then it got a little faster and then a little faster. And then all of a sudden just gone. And we kind of watched it fly way across the sky. And then we saw it stop again and just kind of like hover. At that point, it moved so far, so quickly by the time it stopped. All right, it was so small we could barely see it. But we kind of watched it for another couple of minutes. And then we turned around. We're like, you know what? let's not go back down there where the horses are. Let's just go back up to the bonfire where the people are up by the house. So we turned around, we walked up to the bonfire and we said, hey, did you guys see that? But yeah, so we get up there, we asked those people if they saw what we just saw, and nobody saw this. We said, how long were we gone? They said maybe 10 or 15 minutes. So I don't think we got abducted. I don't think anything weird happened. But I still wonder to this day, was this thing piloted by humans or something else? Because I really don't understand how humans could have possibly made something like this. Now, we do have the Dayton Air Force Base real close to where we were. That's a couple hours away. Something like that could fly over there and no problem. And the Dayton Air Force Base is known for having all kinds of experimental technology and stuff. All right, that's where a lot of like the stealth bombers and junk were made, as far as I understand. So a lot of the weird aircrafts that a lot of people may have mistaken as UFOs and aliens and stuff over the years, it sounds like a lot of them have come out of the Dayton Air Force Base. So it's very possible it was some sort of weird experimental military thing. I just don't know, but it was definitely one of the most coolest and most unexplainable things I have ever seen in my life. And to this day, I remember it like it was yesterday. I mean, this was probably like 20 years ago when I saw this thing, but it was just, I remember it just like it was yesterday. I'll probably never see anything like this again, but that was one amazing day. One amazing day that I will never forget. So that's the crazy, scary story. That's, I guess, really not that scary for this week. So catch y'all later, all right? Please remember to like, subscribe, hit that little bell, and set those notifications to all. That way you don't miss any good videos when they come out, all right? Catch you guys later. See ya.